Okay, so today my kiln is actually seemingly working again. I think, I'm not entirely sure. You can see it's blinking, which it will always blink like that, but it's not throwing the negative numbers like it used to. So I'm not really sure. It is possible I have just escaped about an $850 repair. Like I said, possible. Um, I can't speak any further than that on that because I actually don't know. All I know is the numbers are blinking, but they're significantly different than the last ones. I did reach out to the kiln manufacturer, and they told me it could be the control panel, or it could be the thermocouple, or it could be the thermocouple wiring. Um, Either way, that all totals up to about $850. And it's looking like, even though some are saying I don't need to, but it is looking like to replace the entire mechanism or wiring, whatever you want to call it, is going to require to fully take down the underside. Let's look at the kiln while we do this. To fully dismantle the underside of it, to run the wire all the way back and up, and then through it, because it's got to have a little like electrode type deal. And that's where we're at. Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully. Well, I'm gonna fire this up in a little bit, see if I can get this thing going. And if I can, I'll actually be normalizing these blades right here. And that would be really great, actually, to be able to normalize something that get me moving in the right direction on things I need to get moving on, actually. But like I said, time will tell. And it was strange when it started acting funny as it did, because before that it seemed like it was acting fine. And it was like a seemingly out of nowhere type situation. And for me, that was a bit unfortunate, to say the very least. I mean, like I said, $850 is potential cost to repair my kiln, and I do not have $850 right now. And actually, on top of that, my motor for my 2x72 belt grinder is also not doing that well. And whoever is on Instagram, hi guys, I'm over here just lamenting about my life and the woes of handmade stuff and your things dying. And what's the saying? When it rains, it pours. It's currently pouring pretty hard right now. I got a kiln that's potentially needing some upheaval, and I got a belt sander that's, well, the motor, hopefully just the brushes in the motor need to be replaced. That would be absolutely amazing. Actually, I'll show you guys my belt sander. Move my things off of it because I was panicking and moving stuff around. Okay. So there's the belt sander right there behind me, if you can see it. You guys all saw them on Forged in Fire? Well, that's one of them right there, and they are super cool, to be completely honest. They do make a huge difference in a lot of ways, but something to keep in mind about power tools. Power tools make power mistakes, and that is something I have absolutely fallen victim of by my own hands. And you're grinding something, you're doing really good, and then you just go a little too far, one way up, down, or what have you, and you will grind right through something you never intended. And with steel, they say you can repair it, but I'm not sure how you repair it on something like a hand-forged knife. That I still haven't figured out yet. So if you guys know, by all means, let me know. Let me see if I can get the chat going. Okay, all right, we're good. Anyway, by the way, for the people that are here, I'm Rachel. This is Forged with Femme. I am out of Detroit, and I am over here waxing poetically about the sadness going on in my life right now. And I'm holding a walking stick. I made this for my nephew. He's just a wee little guy, and his parents are big into hiking and whatnot, so I made them walking sticks, and now he's going to have his own. And I can't wait to give it to him. I need to give this to him. But, I'm just going to hold on to it. It's going to be like my scepter. I'm just going to point it at you guys when I'm talking. Oh, that cigar is toast. And actually, to show you guys, this is the Bowie knife I will be heat treating in my kiln that is on the Fritz. This is one I hand forged from a Nicholson file, and I use all repurposed materials. I'll actually show you where is that file. I don't know what I did with it now. There it is. This big guy. And I say it's big because look at the width on that spine. And this is actually the file. That's why it's cut off. This actually was made for that knife. But this is actually the Nicholson file. Actually, I got it started for a new knife. And yep, this is what I made the Bowie, hidden tang Bowie with. And I want to show you another Bowie that I have forged that needs to be heat treated as well. But yep, this is, I'm guessing this file is around about 100 years old, maybe a little bit more. This is from the earlier era of Nicholson File Company. And I chose Nicholson File Company because they are, you know, like the name in American-made hand files. And that's my favorite material to make knives from. So I figure what better for an American-made knife, the Bowie, than an American-made file, or the American-made file. But here's another Bowie right here that I have made from another file. I believe this one's actually made from a Hayes brand file, if I recall. And Hayes, I am particularly partial to because they were made in Detroit, Michigan. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Go Tigers. And so this was another really exciting one. And you might see like it's got like a funny layer on it. And that is something called Yucky Eerie. And almost dropped it. Okay, we're still good. But Yucky Eerie is the Japanese name. But other cultures had similar methods where they would coat it in like a claying type process. And mine, I did it out of fire brick charcoal, just like the kind you throw in a grill. And then I did wood ash, just actually from my grill. And I ground them all up into as fine as I can get them. The fire brick was a little bit hard. And I made them into like a talcum-like powder. Actually, I'll show you guys. And then, hang on. There you go. Just this right here. This is Yucky Eerie powder. And then you mix it with some water. You turn it into like a slurry. And then you lay it on in a very thin layer. And what it does is it creates a carbon dioxide jacket around, vapor jacket, I guess you could say. Is it vapor? I don't know if it's actually a vapor because it's actually a gas at that point. And vapor, I think, only comes from liquid. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Anyway, so it creates a Ca2 jacket around the piece that's being normalized or heat treated, which I'll be normalizing these first. And the charcoal in there becomes like a sacrificial lamb, and that will be burned off. And as that's burned off, it causes, like I said, that CO2 jacket, and that will help thwart pulling more carbon out of the steel. You don't want to lose that much carbon, and you already lose enough as you forge. So hey, why would you want to add, lose any more? And so that's the whole idea behind it. And I'm not sure why Japan got the fame for it, other than they're very good smiths. And I have suspicion it's because Japan is actually iron deficient, and so they had to really learn to work with what they had. And their way is so methodical that I think that smiths of Europe and Africa just were enamored, or India, especially India. India were really good smiths. Actually, that's who invented Damascus steel, and it was actually called Woods. But I think they were just enamored by the skill of the Japanese and their way of going about things, and making lemonade out of lemons, basically. And so that's all I got on that. But I'm going to babble a little longer. I'm actually going to light my cigar. I'm probably going to start reading my manual on my kiln to get this thing up and running. To run these things is incredibly difficult. I wish they had like a much easier method. I don't actually know why they thought that was a good idea to run it with the panel they have. Just like, let me turn it on and turn it up. No, they don't really have that option. No, it actually, so kilns are multifaceted. And it makes sense why they have it the way they have it. Like for ceramics especially, they really do benefit from stepping up temperature and all that stuff. And actually there are knife steels as well that are the same way. Actually in normalizing, you have to, usually it's start up high and then work your way down. And that is where it does come into handy, or it does come in handy. I'm not going to get into the whole process, but you got a very crude version of what it is. And anyway, it helps to have those abilities to change the temperatures and all that, but the way they went about it was just incredibly difficult. As some said, they actually like overbuilt how they designed their control panel, and I think that would actually be a fair assessment if I was to actually choose what they were talking about. I'm live again. And yeah, but I'd say I agree with what they were saying, that it was a bit overbuilt, and they complicated things a bit. Like once you get it down, I'm sure it works really well, but I don't have it down. I did it one time. It's been a while. I gotta get my mind working that way again, and I don't know. How long have I been live? About 10 minutes? I'm going to say that's good for now. I'm going to go enjoy my cigar while I read my manual on my Century Express 5.0. And I really hope that this thing is not destroyed, because even though it turns on, it does not mean it necessarily works. And that's about an $850 repair that I'd have to do. And I'm really not excited about $850 to repair that, because my motor could be $600 on its own. So I'm like kind of like swimming in, you know, I'm just upset right now. I'm having a bad day. I know it's Friday and the weekend is upon us, but I'm having a bad day. We're all allowed to have those, right? At least I've got a good cigar. That does take the edge off a bit. Okay, I am gonna get out of here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I may or may not be live again throughout the rest of today. We shall see. Give me a like and subscribe. Hang around. I talk about random stuff all the time like this. I am always babbling about something. And sometimes I'm even working on things. But let me see. Oh, someone that actually came through. Get a multimeter and go through the points on it. I don't even know what points are, but I do have a multimeter. Oh, you're talking about on the motor. Go through the points on it. Ah, okay. Yeah, like I said, I do have a multimeter. And what's happening is, like, when I'm running it, and it doesn't always do this, but it'll be running and it'll like start running. You caught me just, I was getting ready to sign off, but you said something very interesting. But it'll start running slower, and then sometimes it'll like ching, ching, kind of like a sound like that, and then it'll like drop then surge and then run back normal again for a little while. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know what happened. It's a totally enclosed fan-cooled motor. What do they call it? TEFC. But it's acting like I don't know, something's wrong with it. And it's on a 250 line, if that makes a difference. And I haven't actually used the motor that much, nowhere near like some other people have. And I thought bearing, which I'm not ruling it out, but it didn't make a sound like a bearing. And again, it would be very impressive if a Balder motor crashed out with such low hours. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying, like, these are things like I've been running through bearing already, because in my experiences, bearings tend to make a sound that sounds like a dying animal. Mine hasn't done that. Everything sounds fine, except for the part where it'll like it doesn't like bog down. It like slams down, and then like jerks back on. And I don't know if I can get this thing. Oh, I can't. It's not plugged in right now. You know what? Let me see if I can get it to do it. I'm gonna plug it in. Yeah. The hell just fell? That stick keeps falling. Where's the plug for this guy? All right. Where did I put the plug? I know I dropped last time I was back here. Ah, there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to come around and plug it in. Slow it down a little bit. I'm running the belt cleaner on it right now, which is basically nothing. slow, but not quite like it can. Maybe it's arcing off the stator. I don't know what that is. These are things I have to look up. Depending on the year of the motor, maybe it has an oil filler cup that needs to be lubricated. So the motor, I believe this motor is actually, what is it, 2026? I think this is like a, oh gosh, like 2018, I think it's when it came out. Maybe 2019? Yeah, it could have even been 2020 before everything went sideways. Actually, that might have been when I got it, was the summer of 2020. So that'd be 2019 before everything went sideways. Like I said, it's like kind of strange that the age of it is not very old, and it has these issues. And of course, it's making a liar out of me by not doing it while it's running. But it will start doing this. Like, it's always out of nowhere. I can never predict when it's going to happen, ever. And that's the bummer. And I'm not sure what this is right here either. I don't know if it's a copper or a bronze. I have no idea, but it almost feels like, almost looks like a bronze. Almost sounded like it too when I was banging it on some metal. If I were you, I'd take that top cover off. Let's see what I didn't get a manual with this motor actually. Otherwise, that'd probably be a good suggestion. But no, I don't actually know anything about electronics. Like, that's not my field. I don't actually know anybody that works on electronics, unfortunately. This would be like something that I'd take to a motor repair shop. I would consider replacing the brushes on my own, but probably nothing more than that. But I do wish I had a repair manual, or a manual at all. I never got one with it. Up on the data plate, it should tell you. What am I looking up on the data plate anyhow, other than like, because I know it'll be like, probably like what, make, model, serial number, that kind of thing. What I do know is it is a Balder 1 horsepower DC motor. That's basically the extent of it. And it spins at, I think, 1850 RPMs. Or feet per second? So whatever that measurement is they use for motors. I'm not sure that's actually the data thing. Let's see if it is. I'll sweep it off. Let's go for a trip. Hard to see what you're seeing, but yes, those are the numbers, if you can see them at all. that is good to know. You know, that's the kind of stuff that it seems so like I should just know that. I didn't even think about that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very much so appreciated. I'll have to look into that. And yeah, go from there. But it's like I said, it's right now. It's making a liar out of me. This thing's running like a champ. It doesn't always do this. There's been days where it is just not running this well. And here we are, and it's running fantastic. I'm stuck on something. Where's my... Yeah, there it is. Alright. Close that out. Okay. Look at it this way if you don't go through it and just take it to the shop for 900. I see your point for sure, and it is definitely handy to know how to work on your stuff. Electronic stuff actually like intimidates me. Mechanical stuff, that's like I'm all into it. Electronic stuff, man, I don't know if I'm just like too ham-fisted or what it might be, but oh my gosh, it just for whatever reason, it scares me. Well, this thing, I'm gonna turn it off because it made a liar out of me. Now I feel like a jerk. Come on, unplug. And now I'm gonna turn on my kiln again. Plug that in. And don't leave vices on the floor, kids. That's the second time that thing's caught my foot. Need a better place to put it. I inherited I think 3 vices when my grandfather-in-law passed away. And they're really good ones. Like they're Colombian and Irwin and not Irwin. The one that makes the bullet vice. Can't remember what they're called right now. But I inherited these vices. And the downside is I have 2 in play right now. But the third one I've been using, like dragging it outside, in and out. And we shall see what comes of it. But that's been like my outside vice, so to speak. Okay, my kiln looks like it's blinking correctly right now. If that's even, I don't even know what it's doing. It's not blinking negative numbers, though. That was the part that had me the most scared. I'll bring this over here, why not? You guys can't see this. Let me get back against my welder in here. You can see that it is blinking. I don't know how well it shows up on the screen or whatever. But yeah, it was blinking all these numbers all over the place, all these negative codes. And I reached out to Paragon, and they basically told me $850 for the parts to repair it. So that was not the thing I wanted to wake up to today. You already got the multimeter. The multimeter actually came with the house. When we got the keys from the owner, we said, whatever you guys don't want, just leave it and we'll get rid of it or go through it and use what we want. She left the multimeter, and we've been using it ever since 12 years later. It's surprising how much we actually use that. And then Friends Bros. Hi. And Martin says, just remember, if it has a capacitor, then you have to de-energize it before you can remove it. Make sure you hook it back up in the same fashion. Okay, good call. Thank you. The multimeter, it is a Craftsman. I can't remember what else it's called. I know that it's not the old-fashioned kind, not like the kind they call Wiggy. My dad has one of those. Those are cool. But no, it's not a Wiggy style. And anyway, that's good to know about de-energizing it. I actually have a friend who is good with electronics, but he is nowhere near me. That's the downside. He loves to tear stuff apart like that. Ah, don't fall. Okay. I need to get these knives heat treated because I just keep hitting them with my elbow, and that's just bad business. Okay. No, it does not have the clamp on it. I don't. No, it does not. Definitely does not. Actually, I don't see those very often. Even at like Lowe's, I only see like one or two of those in the options. I just want to know how to turn it on and set it to a temperature and then throw my steel in. How do I do that? Hopefully with my kiln, if it does have an issue, it's just a thermocouple that needs to be replaced, which is still intimidating because I got some online have said I don't have to take the whole thing apart, but it's looking like I got to take it all apart to get underneath it and run the piece all the way around the back. I mean, time will tell. But, you know, just kind of in a tailspin right now. Actually, I'm going to put some stuff out of the way. Get like my yucky, eerie stuff. Got to put this up. Kind of humors me that I made a heat treating material that's been around for like 1,200 years, and I got it in like, you know, plastic containers. I don't even know if the ancient Japanese ever fathomed the idea of plastic. I don't know if anybody did. Although, here's a fun fact. Plastic of yesteryear, before Bakelite, was actually horn from like ram, sheep, whatever you want to call them, that have horns. Water buffalo, that was used kind of like a plastic. It was it was made to be very malleable with warm water. And you could like press it into shapes, and they made spoons out of it and combs and really all kinds of cool stuff. Horn is basically the plastic before there was plastic. Kiln multimeter for 120 bucks. You can read a 200 amp service, and it also comes with a thermocouple temp gauge with it. A thermocouple, that's interesting. That is interesting. That's good to know. I think I've seen the Kiln at Lowe's, if I recall. I think Kiln is like everything's like orange or yellow or something like that. Okay, that makes sense. Everything at Home Depot, orange. Everything at Lowe's, blue. Actually, I had a blue phone when I worked at Lowe's even. It wasn't on purpose, it was just because. Okay. Well, I do appreciate all of your help, Martin. That was some very good info, especially for someone like me that just takes a hammer and swings it at hot steel. Yeah, I would imagine it does come in handy for HVAC for sure. I don't do HVAC of any kind. I shouldn't say of any kind because I did do some stuff last summer on my central air unit, and I remember cleaning it out really good. And the issue that we had was to replace a line, and we needed to get our lines checked for where the leak was. And the guy that came over was kind of a scammer, and I didn't like how he went about it. And yeah, that was unfortunate. I don't like working with people that are kind of like hucksters like that. And it was during a heat wave, as usual. That's just how it is. I'm in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. Hey, this might actually be what I'm looking for. Just a single speed. Just get it up and hot. Why not? Let's get the tripod kicking. Oh, what the heck? When you think you got it all figured out and you don't know what you're doing. There we go. I almost just dropped my whole tripod, almost like let the whole thing flip backwards on me. Okay. And let's pull this up. Okay, let's do that. Let's see. Well, I believe that they are phasing out R22 and 410A refrigerant up there, as well as Illinois. Now they are going to explosive gas for refrigerants. So try and get the AC looked at before you need new. It was actually last summer, I believe, that the guy came over. And why would they go to explosive gas? Like, I mean, I know like acetylene is used, which is very explosive, if I recall. But that's like, you know, cutting and burning and stuff like that. But explosive gas, that's interesting. Although propane, I believe, is classified as explosive, and it is used for all kinds of crazy cool stuff. Like the stuff it runs in motorhomes and campers and stuff like that. That is freaking wildly cool. I didn't even know all that stuff existed till my friend got a camper and we went to the store and they had like refrigerators that run on propane. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. Let's see. Oh, I've been live for 32 minutes. Okay, Martin. A lot of help. Much appreciated all the help today. Truly. And I am out of here. I'm going to try and get my kiln running. We shall see if this works. We shall see if this critter is alive or dead. So, cheers, folks. I may or may not be back throughout the day. We shall see. But you guys have a great weekend. And then Edson pull a vacuum on the line. He did pull a vacuum on the line and see if the leak in the line. If you do, there is a stop leak for it. Yeah, he actually did do that, and he did run a stop leak through it. But I am out of here. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for all your assistance. Very helpful. And peace. All right.